we have a president that acted 100% lawfully to keep people out of this country from 7 countries that we did not have the proper information to ensure they were coming into this country with the appropriate means and motives. If at some point the president doesn't have the power, as given to him in law, to protect this country, I think that really questions what a slippery slope we're on.
All right, that was White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. That was earlier today, insisting that President Trump's temporary travel ban is completely constitutional and, of course, necessary. Now, we're still waiting for the decision from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals regarding that executive order. And earlier today, President Trump took to Twitter to slam the court system, tweeting, quote, "Big increase in our traffic into our country from certain areas, while our people are far more vulnerable as we wait, for what? It should be an easy decision." Joining us now with reaction, Senior Advisor to the President, Stephen Miller. Steve, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, good to be back on. Thanks, Sean.
All right. The fact that this keeps being referred to by a very dishonest media as a Muslim ban even was brought up by one of the judges in the Ninth Circuit. And he even, by his own estimation, said about 85% of Muslims worldwide are not impacted. Let me put up on the screen so everybody can see the 43-plus Muslim majority countries, which is about 90% of Muslims worldwide, are not impacted by this. All of these Muslim majority countries aren't impacted. So the question is, how do you react to the dishonesty, A, in the media, and in the response by these groups before the Ninth Circuit?
Sean, you're right. It is extremely dishonest, and it is frankly contemptible the way that false statements have been made about the president's lawful, necessary, and fully constitutional action. You've done a great job, Sean, in putting the statute up on the screen for everyone to see clear. 212F, 8 U.S.C. 1182. This is the apex of presidential power, delegated to the president by Congress and by the Constitution to suspend the entry of aliens into the United States. Let's be very clear about this fact. No alien in a foreign land has a right to demand entry into the United States of America. They can never have such a right. Rights adhere to people living inside the United States of America, period.
And politicians, Stephen, should not have the right to gamble with the lives of Americans for the convenience or lack of inconvenience for those that we are generously, I would argue, allowing to visit this country.
That's such a great point. We admit 80 million people a year into our country as travelers every single year through airports, land ports, seaports. The idea that even modest, sensible restrictions can't be put in place to protect the safety and security of the American people defies description, Sean. It's just as simple as that. I can give you example after example, chapter and verse, of individuals admitted into our country who went on to commit or attempt to commit heinous acts of terror, including many individuals implicated in terrorism, many individuals implicated in terrorism or terrorist-related activities from these 7 countries, Sean.
Well, I actually have a list. I don't have the final total, but I think it's about 70. But foreign nationals implicated in terrorism from the 7 identified as in the executive order. Now, the question, I think, here, Stephen, is very important because the judge in this case, the original Seattle judge, actually stated that he didn't know of any examples since 9/11 where that, in fact, had happened. So, again, it's a case of judicial activism, but more importantly, he rendered a decision based on things that we know that are provably false. How many people have you been able to add up that were implicated, foreign nationals, in terror activity in the United States or from those 7 countries?
Well, we're working on putting together that list, a final list right now. The list is growing. It's a large list. It's also important to keep in mind that this intelligence determination was made by the Obama administration in 2015 and 2016, that these countries really moving forward in the future would represent a particular area of security concern. But Sean, let's just look at the headlines in recent weeks and months. There was the attack at Ohio State University, the car and knife attack. We've seen example after example in the Somali refugee program of individuals becoming radicalized and joining terrorist groups. Even the examples that you don't see. The reality, Sean, is that it is a daily feature of life for law enforcement officials and federal investigators all across this country to be investigating, interdicting, and preventing terrorist acts that are only in formation only being conceived of can only happen because we let these individuals into our country in the first place, and then American lives are put at danger.
I don't say it lightly that these people that are fighting the inconvenience of people that want to visit us and come into our country, they would have blood on their hands if one of these people commits acts of terror. And I also think when you actually read the list of countries, Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Brunei, Chad, Egypt, Indonesia, which has the world's largest majority Muslim population of 256.3 Muslims that live in that country, or Kosovo, or Kuwait, or Lebanon, Malaysia, Mali, or Morocco, or Niger, or Oman, and I can keep going, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. All of these countries, all of them, they're not impacted. And a dishonest media constantly refers to this falsely as either Chuck Todd saying a religious test or a Muslim ban.
It's dishonest,
I don't know how you deal with this.
It is false, and it is wrong. And I will also say this, because we've talked a lot about the issue of judicial activism. Sean, an unelected judge does not have the right to remake the immigration laws and policies for the entire United States of America. This power is vested in the president. This was an issue put before 300 million American citizens, and they voted with their ballots in November to put in place new, tough vetting measures so that we don't end up, like we see in parts of France and Germany and Belgium, with a permanent problem of radicalism in our country, where it is a regular feature of our lives, where we have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars long-term dealing with the effects of an immigration system that is not properly controlled.
How dare these people be willing to gamble with the lives of the American people? How dare the media lie about it? Steve Miller, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate it.